The first thing that we need is all the resources we need for our project, that is all the images. Once you have all your images in place and you save them properly in your desktop, it's time for the script. This is the writing that you have, and it is the piece of writing that we will transform into audio. I will show you how to do that in a few minutes. First of all, let us edit the script, give it a little bit of commas, full stops, and maybe give it a little bit of segments so that we can easily know where to pause and where to stop. Since in this project I'm going to use a voice recording text to voice software, it is important to ensure that all the commas and full stop are properly put together in your script. Once everything is set and you are okay with it, you can now move your script to your text to voice software. In this case, I'm going to use Natural Text Reader because I have it already installed in my computer. Remember, you can always use Audacity. It is an open source free software that will allow you to record clear voices or audios without paying even for a single dollar. With that mentioned and with that out of the way, let us move our script to our text to voice software. In this case, I had mentioned I'm going to use Natural Text Reader. With the Natural Text Reader, everything is simple. You just copy your text inside the software. It will automatically create the audio for you. You can export it in form of WAV file and MP3 files. Also the OGG file format, which is acceptable. In this case, let us just go through our script, ensure that everything is okay, then as you can see, everything is super easy. Simply copy and paste your text, preview the audio, and then export your MP3 or your WAV or your OGG file, and that's it. Don't forget, you can use Audacity to do the same, but it doesn't convert your text to audio automatically. You have to read your text out loud, which is kind of tedious. Thank you, and let us go to the next step. Now that our audio is ready, it's time to preview it and take it to Audacity so that we can be able to split it. That is the main idea behind using Audacity in this project. It will help us to create the short audio files for our slides. Let me show you real quick how to import audio into Audacity. If you want to automatically import the audio without using the long process, you can simply use the Ctrl+Shift+I and it will automatically import your audio. Just press OK for the pop-ups and your audio will be successfully imported to Audacity. Once you are there, you can see we have now the complete dots, and we also have the gaps where we said those are the pauses, and that's it. Sometimes your audio might be low and you need to adjust it so that it fits the right volume. Hence, you can simply amplify it and it will be okay. Always preview before you do any changes in Audacity. Once you are satisfied with your audio, let us now export the short slides, that is the short audios for our slides. Simply create a new folder for the audios so that you do not have a difficulty when importing them to our animation software. Give them names that will make it easier to also import them to the software. Maybe you can name them slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, that way. This is an easier task and it is supposed to take only 2 to 3 minutes depending on the length of your audio, but always ensure that you are exporting between individual complete thoughts so that they can have a flow in your animation. Cutting the audio files will make it easier for you to make sure that each slide that you work on in your animation software, you get completely done with it before moving to the next slide. Hence, you are pretty sure that once I complete this slide, I'll be done with it forever. I do not have to repeat it any time soon. let us start working on the main project. Yeah, the boring stuff is gone now. Let's start working on the real project. Remember, this is a project that my client gave me, the pockettrucks website. It's kind of a sales video for them, but I found out that if I engage you in a real project, then it will be easier for you to understand how to make animations. Well, let's get to work. Let us ensure that we have everything that we need. We have our animation software now ready, we have our audio ready, we have our script there, and I guess all we need now is to start editing the slides. I will show you everything that you need to know in a few minutes, so let's get started by importing our first slides. A little reminder, always ensure that your animation fits. Both the slide and the audio are totally equal. That is, if the slide is 3 minutes, let the audio be 3 minutes, and that's the rule. I believe that now that you know what to do, we can start importing the slides and maybe start editing. It will be fun. Just give it a couple of trials. You don't have to be perfect at the right time, finding the perfect slide for your animation. So let's get started. There are a lot of slides that you can choose from, so once you have a slide that you are satisfied with, go ahead and start editing. It is as easy as that. So let's start doing it with you. For me, I have already imported all the slides, and I have to select a slide that fits the length of the audio that I had exported from Audacity. Remember from the earlier videos I showed you how to edit the text. That is what we are going to do now. Once you have copied your text from your script, the text that you want featured inside the animation, because you cannot have an animation software just animating the images only. It's good you have a few words here and there, maybe in a couple of, maybe if the audio is if the animation is 30 seconds, I would recommend you have at least 20 words. That's okay. Now let us do this. You copy your text, you paste it in the text boxes so that it replaces the text that is already there. If the size is bigger, then simply minimize it, change the font a little bit, change the color. Then you can also enable the animation and move the text around, and that's how we do it. I invite you to play around with the font sizes that are around, the font styles, the background of the text. Just learn how to do these things. You do not have to be perfect the first time. Once you have completed one slide, you'll find out that it is easier and much fun to do explainer videos compared to other type of animations, because the others you have to draw the items, you have to write the text on your own, and it's kind of complicated. Let me show you how to import the audio. First of all, we already have our exported audio for this specific slide, but if you have not yet exported, simply select it from Audacity, export it, and then import it to your animation software. It's that easy. Once you have imported it, simply preview your animation and it will be good to go. You'll find out that you have created an amazing animation in just a few seconds. You didn't have to draw the characters nor write the text. It's a couple of drag and drop and you are good to go. I like adding some background music so that there is a good flow of information, and maybe where you have pauses, the animation won't have to have pauses. Let us preview now with the background music having been added. And also remember, always have the background music at a lower volume than the actual voice of the author or the character who is speaking, because there is no way your background music will be higher than the actual audio that you want people to hear. Well, I guess we are done with the first slide. Why not do the second one? It will be easier. Just the same way, select a slide that fits the audio length of your exported audio from Audacity, import it to the main area, the working area, and edit the text, import the audio, insert the audio for that specific slide, and that is it. In this case, you can see me selecting some, previewing some slides, and if I find the perfect slide, then I simply import it to the timeline, then drag it so that it is next to your previous slide, that is slide 1 in this case. Once that is done, repeat the process, edit the text, and do everything as I had shown you. But in this case, we have some differences that I want to show you. We need to import an image from our computer since this slide doesn't have any image. In that case, since I had already downloaded an image, simply click on the images section, browse from your computer, and select the image that you want. Once your image is imported, you can tweak it so that it goes to the section that you want it to be featured in. Maybe you want it to the right side of your screen, to the bottom side, anywhere you want that image to be, just do that. Then simply now copy the text from your script, that is the text that you want to be featured inside your animation, and simply copy and paste it, and that's how we do it. Once you are done with that, then you simply have to import the individual slide of your animation, and that is it. Actually, it is that simple. Let us just copy a few texts so that we can understand this. Always remember that if the text doesn't fit, you can minimize the font size, you can change the font as well, and everything follows the same criteria. I know having these animation audio files in smaller portions can be tedious, but remember, it makes the work much easier for you, because you do not have to repeat the whole animation when some certain part has a problem. You simply repeat that specific slide only, without interfering with the other slides. Hence, I would highly recommend that you have your audio files in portions or in terms of individual audios, rather than working with the entire audio file with the entire animation. Always remember to save your work, because you never know, these are machines and machines do fail. And Video Maker FX makes it even easier for you to save your file or your work. Simply click on the save button, and the software automatically saves your work in seconds. That is one of the other features that make Video Maker FX more special compared to other types of animation softwares. Remember, you can always ask questions whenever you do not understand a certain concept. And for those who might like me to add a certain element in the course, simply also message me and I'll be glad to reply to your request. Well, with that said and done, let us customize our next slide. Always remember that you should be able to convey the intended message. I had talked about that in the intros, and I'm sure you already know that, which is a good idea to remind you. So let us now do something with this slide. As you can see, there is a problem with the second text, so we need to post the animation so that we can move the text around and have it in the perfect place. Then copy the right text and then paste the text in the animation software, and that will be okay. Play around with the text, click the enable movement button so that you can move your text around, and the same case applies when you are moving images. The funny part with this software is that the interface is easier to understand and everything that you are working on is updated in real time. Let us play around with the animation software. We copy the text from our script as I had mentioned, then paste it in the individual text boxes or text sections that we have in the software so that you can replace the text. Then you can play around with the sizes, the color, the font, then move the text a little bit around. Always ensure that you preview your animation in that specific slide before moving to the next slide. These are the basics of the explainer video creation process, and once you master the basics, it will be easier for you to make excellent animations. The reason why I'm saying this audio might be tricky for you to capture is that, as you can see, the length of our complete dot is way more bigger than we expected. Hence, we have to find an inner section of that audio where we have an incomplete and a complete dot inside the entire complete dot, because as you can see, there is no pause within that entire selection that I have selected in Audacity. Hence, you have to listen to the audio, the specific area that I have selected or you have selected in your case, and find a section on an area where there is a complete there is a pause and a complete dot. Then if you find a slide that matches the same seconds, simply export that specific audio and create a slide using the selection. It's that easy. Hence, I'll have to listen and then find the perfect spot for me to do the cut and do the cut. And I guess I have found mine. It's right here. Oh, I have to select that and import it in our animation software, and that's it. It's that simple. In the next slide, we will create our custom image and a text and some background from scratch. So let's get started. First of all, let us go to the gallery and have an image imported inside our software. Then we can position it so that it fits exactly where we want it before we move to the next step, where we will be importing or we will be copying and pasting our text, which in this case is only the website name. Remember, this is where we have reached so far with the animation, which we are following slowly. That is where we will end this project, but I'll have another project with you with another client so that you can get used to the projects that we have in the real world. As you can see from the preview, our animation looks great. I will stop the project right here so that I can complete it on my own, but I will have another project with you, and thank you so much for being part of this course. I really appreciate your time, and you learning new skills is what makes me happy.